So here's a scenario. You're done with your pre-med, you've passed your board exams, and have already applied to the medical school of your dreams. And one day you receive a phone call telling you that you were set to be interviewed by the dean and the faculty. Now you're filled with a weird mix of joy and anxiety for said interview. Spicy Medtech here, and in this video, I will tell you what to expect on your first medical school interview. And I will go through the most common interview questions asked in all medical schools. Now, first of all, you have to be prepared. If the medical school you're applying for conducts interviews on campus, that means you have to be physically present. So make yourself presentable on top of the other requirements your medical school may have asked you to bring with you. Otherwise, if the interview is to be conducted online, I suggest looking for a quiet and well-lit place. Around 90% of all medical school interviews are conducted by either the dean or the faculty, so it's great if you make a good and lasting first impression. It's natural to be anxious for an interview that could play a part in the next 4 or 5 years of your life, so it's very easy to get eaten up by your emotions and freeze in the middle of the interview. Just think about it as a conversation instead of a court trial. You're there because they want to get to know you more, not to indict you for a crime. So relax. It is safe to assume that the person interviewing you is usually a doctor or a panel of doctors. And for sure they have with them the documents you were asked to submit prior to the interview. They usually have your transcript, your birth certificate, your application letter, or whatnot. So don't tell them the things they could read off your documents. Now, when they ask the golden question, but mind you, this is one of the most stressful questions all medical schools ask you. That question is, tell us more about yourself. Now, it may sound simple, but how much it tells them about you knows no limits. This is usually the first question they're gonna ask you. So this question will have the potential to drive the overall direction your interview is going. And a good answer to this question is crucial in making a strong impression and overall improving your odds to get into medical school. Now, this question is not the time to show off or to prove that you're better than the other people applying with you, since you've more or less met their standards. Otherwise, they wouldn't have called you over for an interview. The purpose of this question is for the faculty to determine if you have the right attitude and the right character for the course. If you're a team player, if you get along well with others, because the medical profession is not a solo act. It is a collaboration of many individuals working together to give the appropriate care to your patients. Now, this is the time you show them the real you, how passionate you are in your pursuit of a medical career. Don't spend your time naming all of your achievements. They already know that. It's in your resume. Though there are no right or wrong answers to this question, some answers will show them more about you. You could start about talking about your unique characteristics, how you were raised, what your hobbies are outside the academic field. Tell them your strongest qualities. Now, if you're hardworking, say you're hardworking. If you work well under pressure, tell them you work well under pressure. Work with what you have. And please do not lie, because sooner or later, they will see right through you and your interview will backfire on you later in med school. Balance it out. Make sure you blend your personal and professional aspects in your answer. So if you talk about how you would want to work in a hospital in the near future, tell them something more personal about you. Like if you're a pet lover or love spending quality time with your family, go tell them that. As long as you keep a good balance and show them you're also an enjoyable person to be with, you should be fine. Now, if you answer this right and impress your interviewers, your chances of getting into that medical school will have grown exponentially. Now, other minor or follow-up questions they could ask you are you in a relationship? This is asked because they want to know if you know your priorities, and that medicine may require you to invest more of your time, causing you to make minor sacrifices elsewhere in life. Another would be, If you were failing a subject, would you cheat? Now, this is a minor test of your character and integrity. They just want to know. Another would be, why pursue a career in medicine? Now, this is usually a follow up to tell us more about yourself if you fail to include it. They would want to know your motives. Are you in it for the service you could give, or are you in it for the money? Another would be, tell us more about your pre-med thesis. They ask this because medicine incorporates a lot of research work throughout your whole career in med school. So it would be best if you tell them what your thesis was about and what you've learned. This may require a minor explanation, so please be ready. Another would be, who will finance you throughout med school? They ask this because medical school experience, for the most part, involves a lot of expenses. They will ask you, what if your education can no longer be financed by the person you're depending on? What will you do? Will you stop going to med school? Because things like this really happen. And although it may sound bitter, that's a sad reality. Now, there are some interviewers that ask really random questions, like, if you're the size of an ant, how would you change the world? Or something like, if you were the richest man on earth, what would you do? The reason why these curveball questions are asked is to see how well you do under pressure, because more often than not, these are the questions you may not have prepared yourself for. And one final tip, and that is practice, but make sure your delivery still sounds natural. So I guess that would be all. I hope you all get into the medical schools you've applied for. This has been Spicy Medtech. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.